Like you need a solid hour and a half to, like I'll go when I have free hours, because you have to go through all that.
Water with a cherry is slightly less
Yes.
Alright, folks, we are before after, which I feel is sufficient for getting started. Wipe out more. Hi everyone, my name is Becky Santiago. I'm the president of the Coronado Neighborhood Association. Thank you for being here at our March meeting here at the Philippines. Get into it. We have a full agenda. Which I don't know if I actually updated this, so I'm just gonna get into it. So Dan's not here today. These numbers don't reflect necessarily all of the home tour stuff. It's a little bit in flux right now as we have a lot of stuff outstanding. But our checking is at almost shy of $60,000, and our savings is a little over $64,000. Obviously, income and expenses, big numbers this past month because of home tour. So Dan will have those numbers as far as what the gross profit was after all that at our April meeting. Giving program, we still have funds available. Thank you, Doreen, for the trap and release efforts that you guys are doing. You know, we've got a lot of cats in the neighborhood, so appreciate your efforts there. I think also on the next slide, yes. Bunch of folks over on 14th Street did a beautification project funded through the Giving program. So you can see here the finished product. They added sort of a walkway, a little free library, planted some trees, and it looks really nice. So those are the sort of programs and initiatives we like to see funded through our effort, and we're thankful to all the neighbors. Nick Barnheiser is the one who applied, but as you can see in this picture, a whole bunch of people showed up. It was a huge pile of rocks, and they really powered through it in one morning. I was quite impressed. By the time I got over there, they were pretty much done. I was like, well, sorry I was late, but it looks great. So going back to this, yeah, some funds left in several of the categories, or all of the categories. So if you think of other things that you might want to do that benefit the neighborhood, please let us know, because we want to support you in implementing those ideas. Clara.
So for businesses, we have 174, and for individuals, we have 371. We also added a new webpage where, whether you're a member or not, you might want to subscribe to our monthly newsletter. We add events and updates to it, and we try not to spam it.
This week was a lot of emails, but there was changing agenda, so thank you for your patience. We, yes, generally aren't sending a bunch of emails.
Generally just once a month.
Yes. We're going to come back to this because Monica's cookies. Home tour recap. Yeah, like I said, I don't have the numbers, but I know several of the people here participated, volunteered, helped out, were featured on home tour, and wow, what a day we had. It was awesome. I've heard nothing but good feedback, and I want to thank all those who are in this room who supported that day for being there and helping us, because you can't do without you. And I mean, I had a really awesome time. This is my third year planning it, and it was It's always stressful, especially the 2 weeks leading up to it. And we were morning of sort of waiting for some alarm bells to go off, and they did it. So really proud of everyone, our planning team, and everyone who supported it. It was a great day. We had great weather and good turnout. So.
Preliminary idea how many people actually attended or bought tickets?
Ticket sales were upwards of 900.
I think it was more than 1,000.
Almost 1,000.
More than 1,000, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have all those numbers at the next one, but that's up at least. Well, we sold about 800 last year, so more tickets. There's more tickets sold, more vendors this year. Probably 20 to probably more like 30 more vendors this year, and then a couple more food trucks. So it definitely grew in size, which was really exciting.
We also had more expenses, but.
We did have more expenses, but
Yeah.
trade-offs. So more to come there. Historic survey documents. So we were, as part of the tool shed move, which I will, well, I guess I kind of will blend these now, and I don't know what order I have them in. But the school district has asked us to leave the garden and tool shed, which were on the south side of Emerson. We purchased a smaller shipping container because the one that we had is like fenced in. It would have been not cost effective to try and remove it from that location. And so we have a new tool shed on Brian's property. We have a legal agreement that's been sorted out as far as all that. But all that to say, in the process, we found a couple more. We found some boxes of the historic survey that was completed back to make our historic designation in the Coronado neighborhood. And so it is very detailed. Every house was documented with who owned it previously, what the windows, what the facade looks like, etc. I haven't gone through to see. It's organized by street, pretty much though. So we're going to bring those into future meetings if people want to collect them, because what we have done is we paid to have them all digitized. So we'll have them, we'll eventually make them available on the website or something. We have to figure out that. But we got them back this week, so that's really exciting because they're not that functional in paper form. So just wanted to share that we found those documents and went through the process of making sure that they do stay indefinitely with us. So questions about that? Yeah, go ahead.
I just was curious because there are some swaps that are not included.
Right.
Does it explain in there why?
Yeah, there's a whole report. I didn't read it myself, so I'm not sure. But we have that report not digitized, so we can make that available for sure. And add that, we'll probably, build out a historic page on our website or something. So
Okay,
more to come. I was going to say something else. Oh, tying this to our next meeting, one of our guest speakers will be someone who is in the world of historic preservation and is familiar with what's going on with the 11th Street houses that have just been fenced up and no development happening on that whole block over on 11th and Coronado, yeah. And so we'll make a push that there will be a historic preservation aspect of the next meeting. So we'll have those files for people to sift through and see if their house is available for taking their own file. As I just mentioned, we're moving the tool shed. It's still up and running. Most of the stuff is actually already at Brian's new tool Brian's house where the tool shed is located. Operations are the same, but yeah, different pickup spot. It's now on Cypress between 14th and 15th Street, but still really easy to coordinate through the tool shed at Coronado, the CoronadoNeighborhood.com email address. And again, tool shed is available for free or very discounted rentals on a whole bunch of tools, and mostly what gets rented is our party equipment. So we've got a bunch of tables and chairs, and now we also have like a nice tablecloths for them and stuff. So we've definitely tried to refresh some of our stuff. We know it gets utilized, and we want it to be a nice and reliable thing for everyone who's renting. So, questions about the tool shed? Cool. The new dispatch is out. If you haven't seen it, it's a great addition. This gets mailed to active members, and then we also print out extra that gets handed out at primarily Sunshine, but sometimes other, like TMI and other locations. It's always on our socials where we're handing those out. And it's an ongoing thing, so if you ever have an idea of, why is it important to do trap and release, or a house project you finished that you're excited about, whatever it could be, or you met your neighbor and there's this fun story or connection. We're always looking for content from community members, so please feel free to reach out to us at the email here, info@coronadoneighborhood.com, and we'd be happy to work with you to get your article featured in the next edition. Shout out to Joey for doing the design.
We're a little bit behind schedule. Ideally, we would be putting a new one out pretty quick here, but if we could say, we try a deadline before, before the next meeting, right? If we had a deadline for content. And then I have an artist in mind to interview that's local. It'd be cool. I don't have a band, actually. There might be a band to interview as well, but I don't have any other content. I don't know if it'd be fun to try to do themes with it, we could always do that. It could be loosely set up for that, yeah, anything, all things neighborly, right? And then also make sure to submit photos with your content or request that someone else comes up with them, because it's much easier to look at things while you're reading.
Yeah. So next meeting is April 3rd. So before then, info@coronadoneighborhood.com. Send us your ideas. Okay. Next month is our not next month. May is when elections are. So next, we started already doing some preemptive launching, especially since next month will be a very busy agenda. In addition to historic preservation person, we have our new community action officer will be attending next month's meeting. And I know there's been a lot of chatter on the message board about different things, and so I'm sure there will be a long or a full agenda just with those two people. So wanted to go over what it looks like to be on the board, and I think I'm going to have Kirsten actually do some of this, so it's not just me talking the whole time. So. I know this, we're doing this on the fly, we didn't coordinate this, but I think maybe how about we just talk about what we do as in our individual roles and kind of overall. So yeah, obviously all of the officers and directors attend the monthly meetings as much as they can, and then adhere to the CNA code of conduct, which is just a general thing. But I'll say as president, I love this role. It's my hand is in all of the pots, which so it takes a lot to be in this position, and it's kind of one of those, just in general on the board, it is what you make out of it, and so the more the more committed to it I would say you are, the more you get out of it, and the more you can meet neighbors and have a good time and see the impact of the work that we do as the board. So as the president, I come up with the agendas, and obviously I'm providing general guidance to the rest of the board. And really, I've tried to facilitate helping others on the board feel empowered to take on whatever they want to spearhead, because as the president, if I'm just telling people what to do, that's one way to do something, but I feel like people are more, when they're following their passions and doing the things they want, it's when we have a better collaboration and get more done. So,
So right now I'm vice president, and this role is interesting in that it's kind of also what you make of it. This year, it's not a good look when I can't remember what I'm in. I definitely have been wanting to connect more with previous CNA board people, just having been fairly new to the organization, and I'm hoping to bolster that and talk with people who've served with us before and get some feedback and see what kind of stuff they tried to bring to fruition that maybe didn't, or stuff that really worked that we should try to bring back. Also connecting with other neighborhoods that are kind of similar to us, like Willow and Encanto, and some of that has started. The city of Phoenix actually has the Neighborhood Services Department has started connecting us. So we have, it was supposed to be tomorrow, it's moved. The other thing that I have started, and this isn't to say that another vice president person would do this, they would find their own stuff. And I was going to talk about it later on the agenda, but there is a nonprofit group called Cabin, and they have a neighborhood accelerator program that's virtual. And so I joined that on our behalf. And it's a 2-week program. I just completed yesterday week 3. So I have a few more. There's weekly workshops, and I keep looking back because we actually have a guest who is the organizer of Cabin, happens to be in town, and she's going to show up around 7:30 today. So she can say a little hello at that time. But we literally, the virtual meetings are meeting with people from all over the world who are trying to create communities like what we already have. So there are people in the group that I meet with who are in China, there's people in Australia, there's people in New Hampshire and New Mexico, and it's really interesting to see the ideas that people are coming to the table with as they're building communities from like little communities into something, but it also teaches us like how we can continue to reach out to people that maybe we're not already reaching, right? So that's something that was kind of my project this year. And just providing support to everybody. I hope that I'm working on that, and I can also sign checks. So
It's an important
while I'm
job.
here.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's some treasurer stuff. Dan is checking our financials and writes the checks. He's not a signer, but he makes sure that maintaining documentation is a big one. Obviously, all of our receipts, especially from this past month, is really the crazy time. But just in general, that we are documenting how we are spending our funds. A lot of stuff gets paid for via our checks, but we also have a CNA debit card, primarily used to pay for like tonight's event and things like some of the insurances or whatever. But again, making sure that all of that is documented and tracked. So. You gotta talk louder.
Sorry, I don't project very well.
Just talk about what you do. You don't have to read the slide.
Okay. I take notes during the meetings, and I have been working on the email campaigns. We sent out a couple this year. We've done a few for charitable causes, which have been pretty successful. That's awesome. We were able to raise some money for a couple different causes in the last year. We also send out updates, neighborhood news. I sign checks, and I help with projects.
Mhm.
And then we have 5 director positions. You guys can chime in if you want, but really, like, for example, Allie has really spearheaded Allie and Gabrielle left, but they really have taken the reins on our graphics and our branding, which is awesome. It looks amazing, and we're really happy with that. And socials are a lot. Like, we have to constantly be communicating with people, so it's we're usually like, Allie, we need you to send this or blah blah blah, and so. But she does a great job with it and handles it well and creates good content to communicate with everyone. But yeah, sort of like it says, acts as heads of projects and initiatives. Brian has been a director the last several years, and he's really took on the tool shed as his. I mean, that's kind of a thing that we were all kind of doing, but now it's definitely his pet project and his baby. But yeah, showing up to the meetings, supporting other initiatives. They're not authorized signers. And then, yeah, as the board decides what their initiatives are for the year, helping with implementing that. So, I don't know, Allie, Marnie, or Chris, if you have other things to add about your experiences as directors.
Well, it's just been very nice what was mentioned earlier, that we're all really encouraged to give ideas and things that we notice in the neighborhood and things to add. So kind of building on, we did the Halloween bike ride, we say, well, why not just do a holiday bike ride and Cocoa Social, those kinds of things. And when people suggest like the yoga in the park, it's just lots of little things that could come about and be kind of the eyes and ears to get people involved.
Cool. So yeah, this is any and all skills are amazing to have on this board. But yeah, social media, people who are photography and videography, documenting and helping with that media content. Obviously, you have to be pretty organized to be on this committee or this organization, but it's one of those that, yeah, what skills you have or want to work on, there's avenues to do so on this board. So to be on the board or to run for a position, you have to be a member of the CNA by April 2nd. So that's also why we're doing this this month. And then and to vote, yes, thank you. And then elections will be in May. We're going to open them for one whole week this year. Last couple years, I think we just done it for 24 hours. So doing it for a whole week to send you guys. That will be an email campaign week of reminders and bombarding you maybe a little bit. And then we would announce the winners on the 10th of April. I mean, May. And the new board would start in June. So if you are interested, also the April meeting would be a full agenda, but that would be your opportunity to introduce yourself to the community and share what position you are running for. Safety committee. We have a new community action officer, as I mentioned. His name is Officer Tim Cobb. He will be attending our next meeting. Laura, I didn't put any goals on here. I don't know if you want to speak to some of the things.
I think the only thing to note is that I just started a new monthly coffee and cleanup in the park. We cleaned up the park just as we're home for, and it was really great. We actually saw people that were just hanging out in the park also start to clean up their areas. Someone took their cigarette and put it out and then put it in the trash. So being there is really good. But so that's gonna be this month. It's gonna be on the 15th, Saturday the 15th at 8 a.m. in Coronado Park. Bring some coffee, bring some gloves, we'll bring some Snickers. And then after that, it's gonna be the second Saturday of the month in perpetuity until it gets too hot to do it, and we'll adjust the hours or whatever that we'd like to keep going. So yeah.
Yeah, especially while it's nice, the weather is nice. I was out there, we were out there for 2 hours, I would say, and I just had my headphones and speaker with me and just listening to music, and it's just a delightful little stroll through the park while picking up garbage. So there you go. Thank you, Laura, for your work there.
Woo.
Oh, and then yeah, if you want to get involved, reach out to me. I'll connect you with Laura on our monthly meetings. In the last edition of the Dispatch, I put out an article for a Coronado cookbook with the deadline of the end of end of February, but obviously it went out a little bit late, and then it was found too early. We weren't really promoting this. So anyway, the idea now is that we want to create a Coronado cookbook that is recipes from people in the neighborhood, plus a little story, what is that, is there any history to that recipe? Is it a family recipe? Where's it from? What does it mean to you? Is it something you guys use? You make this recipe for your grandson's birthday every year or something like that. But just to share stories and to connect, because food always brings people together, and I think that's a fun way to learn about different cultures and people that live in the neighborhood. So we're extending the deadline to the end of this month, and you can send it to President Plus Cookbook at thecoronadoneighborhood.com, and we will be compiling that and putting together a little cookbook. So we will share that on our we'll put this online as well. We were looking at doing a Discord channel or using the Discord platform for the community as another way to form groups and organize. We've decided against it largely out of the regulating it for content and making there's things we can do to filter and stuff and block words or whatever, but it would be quite onerous. It would be a full-time job for someone, and we're volunteers with jobs and lives, so we are choosing not to do that at this time.
Joey?
Oh,
yeah,
sorry, Joe.
Question. I just wonder, because CMB, right, Facebook isn't technically CNA either, right? And then the reason why the whole Discord idea came up was because people wanted an alternative that wasn't Facebook. Mm-hmm. So I just wonder if you guys say we don't want to do it, if maybe you're saying if somebody else wanted to do it. And I'm not trying to volunteer for it either. But would it be cool if someone did, you know?
Yeah.
Start this neighborhood
I do think Dave
It seems like a
Tapley,
bad idea now.
yeah, Dave Tapley is working on a proposal for that also. So it's not to say we're going to be like, don't you do it,
Yeah.
Right.
but
We just don't want to.
Yeah.
we don't
Oh,
want
all
to.
right. Well, yeah. I can dig it.
Good question. Andrew, would you like to come up and introduce yourself and share what you're going to share?
Hi everybody, my name's Andrew Simic. I'm the field representative for Congresswoman Yasemin Ansari, who is your guys' congresswoman, your federal representative. So as her field representative, I'm the primary person to relate to the community, work with you guys about whatever you need, whatever's going on in your neighborhoods. I want to know about it so that I can relay that to the congresswoman so that we can help you guys. A little bit about me. I'm a former school teacher. I grew up in the West Side. I was born in Glendale, and so it's a privilege to represent my hometown and my community in Congress and help the congresswoman do the best job she can. She very much values the contributions of the Coronado neighborhood for all the historical things that you guys cover. As a former history teacher, I love it because I love old houses. So you guys have some beautiful, beautiful homes. You have a beautiful neighborhood. And I'm happy to do whatever I can to support you guys. I only have 2 updates for legislation that we're working on right now. It's the FAIR Act, which is looking to reduce housing costs for new homeowners. And then I forget the last part, but the second act is going to be working on lowering electricity bills. So not sure about the progress of these yet. We're still working on introducing these, but those are 2 important acts that I think will really relate to you guys and help you guys out. Just super excited to get to know you guys. I'm not going to come to every meeting. I would love to, but I have a goal of going to every community meeting this year, at least once, and getting to know you all. If there's ever anything that comes up that our office can be of service on, if you need any assistance with your organizations or your companies that we can possibly help provide a resource for, that's what we're here to do. So I can take any questions you guys want. It was a super short one. I don't have too much to add. You guys already do a pretty great job, but whatever I can do to help you guys out, I want to help.
How many neighborhoods are you going to go to?
The plan is to try and do all of them at least once,
Okay,
so
got it.
hundreds of community meetings. It's a long year.
Yeah.
It's my job. Yes.
If you could just express to me just how much I respect him and I appreciate everything. I know she's new, she's young, and she is making a remark, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I know your guys' neighborhood has a very large array of different political opinions and so on. We don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. Our office is here to help our constituents no matter what. So if you guys have an issue, whatever it is, please feel free to reach out to us. As to that point, we'd love to invite all of you, if you have the time, on March 18th at 6 o'clock at Burton Bar Library. We're going to be having our town hall. So far, we're the only federal representatives that in Arizona that have hosted a town hall at least once. This is going to be our second one coming up here. We're also going to be having a teletown hall that I would invite you guys to tune into. I think it will provide a lot of resources that might be valuable to you all. I would hope that you guys would share your input about what you've encountered. I don't want to get too into the messes that are going on in the world. I think we can have a positive Coronado neighborhood meeting. But I would like to say we are working very hard in the service of you guys. We want to make sure that this neighborhood and the city of Phoenix is a place that is welcome to all, and that it is a place that we can be very proud of and have a future that we can be proud of. And you can always rest easy knowing that that's the cause that we're working for every day. Are there any other questions that I can
What was the date of that meeting?
March 18th. March 18th.
6 p.m.
Absolutely.
What time?
6 o'clock to 8 o'clock at Burton Bar.
We'll put that on our website under our events as well.
Would love for you guys to be there. Bring a friend. It'll be a pretty great meeting. Anything else, guys?
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Woo.
Some upcoming events. Front Porch Friday is ongoing. There was also an article, I think, in the most recent dispatch that we just want to encourage people to utilize their front yards and their front porches and reactivate that space and engage with the community. And I know people are busy, but it's just an ongoing, rolling basis of like, if you're just kicking it at home on a Friday, hang out on your front porch, wave to a neighbor, invite them over if you feel like it or don't, like play music and read or whatever you want to do. There's no agenda to it. It's meant to just be activating our community, having a presence, and I know, we have a very active community, people are always out walking their dogs and stuff, but just another layer of that, and some continuity with having people out and about and present.
I think it's kind of fun in tandem with that. If you go out in the evenings, right, before the sun drops, and like roll, or, I don't know, skateboards or bicycles or golf carts or walks, and it's nice because then you see the people in their front porches, right, and then we get sort of get the synthesis going of, well, hey, you're out and about too. Look how nice it is still, or oh dang, it's about to get hot. Or, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've done a couple of these, had people over, and it's fun. People, see you hanging out, and they're curious, and they want to join, and it's like I've invited people, like, hey, if you're just walking, you want to come over or whatever, and so far no one has stopped, but one day. I know, right? Like stranger danger. Joe, you want to say anything about Mural Fest that's coming up on the
Yeah, Ocean Alley Mural Festival. This is like the 5th one we've done legally, and it's from noon to 8, and we'll be in Oaks, the 1400 block of Oak, where all the murals are at, and we're going to take a few down, and then we're going to put new ones up. We have about 30 artists ready to come paint.
Wow.
We're going to head down the alley between Cypress and Oak at 15th Street, those apartment complexes, all the way to Cyrus House over here. And then there's a few other little spots in the neighborhood that we're going to paint. And we got the street block for Saturday and for Sunday. And Sunday there's not really any programming, just kind of come out again without motor vehicles and other vehicles or whatever, And we got some bands playing. There's food carts, not trucks, food carts over there. So come hang out, meet with us, check out art, find an artist. We're also looking for money. We only give artists $200, which isn't very much money. So if anyone wants to help me track down grant money or donate to CNA and earmark it for Oak Street, you can totally do that. Yeah, it takes about 5 Gs to do it, and the CNA can do it without their help. And then, so yeah, if you know of any other way to track down funding for that, that would be great. Otherwise, come celebrate art, check out the art, experience each other. It's going to be like, it looks like a high of 67 as of yesterday. Who knows? But that's what it says so far.
Awesome.
And yeah, and we're trying to add more murals everywhere. And if you got a wall, let us know about that too, and we'll try to help facilitate art on it.
Awesome. Thank you for organizing that. It's an awesome event. And if you haven't been, it's a good time. It's really impressive to see them in action and just the energy around that area during the day is really fun. So thank you for organizing, and yeah, make sure you get out
Turn on your
there.
airdrop, we'll drop you the flyer, otherwise it's on Facebook and Instagram.
And then Food Truck Friday is something that we just earmarked for March 28th. We are just starting to plan that, so that is subject to change if we aren't getting enough interest or whatever, specifically from the food trucks and all that, but looking to do that, and we're in the works on what all will be there, but someone really wants a bounce house. So we're trying to make it like a family-friendly event, maybe some games and a bounce house at the park and stuff, and tasty food. So more to come on that. And then Launcheria, we did that last year. It was a hit. We did it at Virginia Park, and we had an MC, a DJ. We were playing games. We were games on top of games because we were doing Launcheria all night long. And if you aren't familiar with Launcheria, it's pretty much bingo cards, but the tiles on your game square are tiles that are designed by Coronado residents and artists, and so it was really fun participating in that last year. And yeah, so we're working on trying to secure those same guys that did the DJ and MC last time, because they were wonderful and it was a good time. So that's why it's TBD, but we're looking to do that in April. So more to come on that. I'm gonna see if Monica wants to.
She's right here.
This is our host before we go to the open forum.
So I know many of you. I'm Monica from Make Out Finds. Thank you so much for coming to see us 2 months in a row. We're very excited to have you. Most of you know the story. We've been closed for 4 years. It's been 7 days a week now. now, we're serving lunch every day and open later on Friday and Saturday. This month, Phoenix picked us as one of the 9 special places in Arizona, in Phoenix for Phoenix History Month. So
Woohoo!
so that was really exciting. Just kind of the same as last time, looking for staff. I'm going to do a fundraiser for my air conditioning because I don't have any air conditioning next door. And it is getting hot soon. I mean, it's just keeping the confines going, but we really appreciate y'all coming. Any questions about the confines or? Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll just open it up if there are people, Joey.
I was curious, you said the elections are coming up.
Yes.
Are all of y'all interested in sticking around in your positions?
I have been on the board for 5 years and I'm going to bow out and take some time to do whatever I want. As far as the rest of the board, I don't know if you want to speak to your own. Most of the people over here are planning to stay.
Yeah, I think people are interested. That doesn't mean that they're planning to run for the same position, or that if you're like really vying for a specific, you're like, I love money, I want to be a treasurer. Like that doesn't, we won't, we'll figure out a way to make sure we can have as many people on the board who want to be here as we can fit. So I wouldn't worry about that, so long as if you want to be flexible, that's great. And we'll look to be flexible. It's still an election, so you can always vote people out if you don't like us. But we hope you do. Yeah.
Come to our next meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, if you follow the Between Two Giants podcast, you might hear something on the most recent episode. So.
It's a good drop.
Also,
Yeah.
I know Dan is Dan is our treasurer. He's on the fence as to whether he will be running again. Brian is going to step down, but he will continue to run the tuition. So that opens at least one director, the treasurer, and the president role.
And there's always opportunities to volunteer, even if you're not on the board.
100%.
Yes.
And it's fun, we have so many volunteers here. So
Yes. Yes.
Just a quick update on the CAT TNR.
Yeah.
That stands for it's trap, neuter, and release. So I'm working with several neighbors who've already expressed an interest. And the cats do get released back to the same place that they're trapped. And actually, I believe it's illegal to take the cats and put them somewhere else. Cats have very good homing instincts, so they'll end up back here anyways. We trapped over at the apartment complex on 15th Street where Monte Vista dead ends, and we got 4 cats. And the very big success story in my mind is one was very friendly, and it actually ended up going to Lost Arm Home Adoption Agency. And 3 days later, it got adopted. So it's like a family. So I continue to do that. If you do have a specific need or have a neighbor in need, I've had people reach out to me saying they've got like an elderly family who doesn't quite know what to do. I'm happy to do that. I also can help advise people on proper colony care so that you're feeding them properly, changing the water out, things that will help keep them a healthy community. Because that's really what TNR is about. Not only reducing kittens, kittens are cute, but we don't need any more, but it also helps keep the cats healthy. And so there's less fighting when they're neutered, there's less peeing on your front door, those are the kinds of spraying, those are the kinds of things that help get reduced once you get TNR cats neutered.
Thank you for your input.
Go.
So I think I've talked to some people here before about the pedestrian business at 10th Street and 18th Street. Just an update on that. So it was a study from the Maricopa Association of Governments. It went through and was voted on in the policy session. And so what I'm hearing is that the MAG is passing it on with the strong recommendation that they preserve or rebuild bridges. So it's now in ADOT's hands, so there still might be a fight down the road, but I suspect the Mayor Gallego had something to do with that, and she knew that's something great that I could do. So just want to get people that.
Thank you for communicating.
Would you want to say?
What project you were talking about? They were doing a study on redoing the I-10 between like the tunnel through the stack, and the originally the plans, it was shown to have the pedestrian bridges removed on 18th Street and 10th Street. And so we're now hearing that is not going to be the case, or at least it's not being recommended that way to ADOT, who ultimately would be the one doing that project. So down the road, it still might be another fight, but I believe the Mayor Gallego, as part of, she's on that policy committee, made sure that that recommendation would be.
Yeah, yes.
I was over Coronado Park, they're tearing down the tennis courts, what's happening?
Yes, sorry, I did mean to say that immediately at the beginning because I was like, don't forget to say that, and then, thank you. They are reconstructing, they're just gonna repave the, it's gonna stay 2 tennis courts. They are not, probably to Marty's dismay, not putting in any pickleball courts. It's just gonna be tennis courts again, but they're doing a full repave, and so I think the timeline was the 5th to the 5th, so early April they should be done.
They are.
Yeah, so they're doing like the fence right now, everyone's been by the park, the fence is down, and you have the construction and stuff, but big fence is down and they're gonna do like a full repaving, so scraping everything and we putting down new cement pavement.
Yeah. I have a question. Do you know if they turned off the water to that water fountain because of that?
I don't know, like, ask. Clara asked if, I guess the water fountain at the park is not running, or the dog bowl is not.
Or the water fountain by the
Okay.
tennis courts.
I will ask about that later. I doubt that's related because it doesn't seem to make sense to me to turn that off, but I can ask the park.
If you have a contact, that would be great.
Yeah.
It's been like 3 weeks.
So it doesn't. And then, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll let you.
So a few minutes ago, thank you.
Is it done charging?
Yeah, probably.
A few minutes ago, I mentioned a neighborhood accelerator program that we're participating in, and I just wanted to introduce you all to Savannah Kruger, who runs the program, the organization, and just give her a couple minutes to talk about what that really looks like if you're curious. So this is Savannah, and she's visiting us.
I'll go over here. Hi everybody. I'm so sorry I was late. I feel so inspired by this gathering. It's so cool to see you all here and hear about the care of your home. So I'm Savannah Kruger. I run a program called the Neighborhood Accelerator Program that Kirsten is joining us in. And this is an international cohort of people who are seeking to create community where they live in their neighborhoods. Most of them are starting from zero, whereas we all have an incredible community and incredible infrastructure already here. And so Kirsten's taking this course with us, both learning from the practical, tactical things that people are doing in other neighborhoods around the world. Some examples are like 2 women in a rural village in the base of the Pyrenees Mountains in the south of France. One is 70, one is 40. One just moved to the neighborhood, the village. The others lived there for 35 years. And they both have this shared common goal to connect with their neighbors, to create things like third places, cafes, to build out the infrastructure of their village. So there's people all over the world, all over the U.S. Kirsten's joining us, and she's been a beautiful contribution. So yeah, that's a little bit about it.
Questions for Savannah about the program?
It's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, Joey has a question.
You're visiting from where?
I live in Boulder, Colorado, in the United States, and I very much am building a greater sense of community where I live. We're like a 15-minute walk to the base of the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. And yeah, it started with my apartment building, and now it's broadened out to 20 blocks around us. And yeah, very much doing a similar thing where I live in my home and getting the pleasure of coming to Phoenix and seeing Kirsten.
I know.
Travel a lot?
Honestly, I would love to travel far less because I just want to be home with my friends in my apartment building and like, do the thing that I care so much about. And so I'd say like quarterly I'll take a trip like this.
You were just in Bali for.
I was just in Bali. That is also true. But yeah, I went to Australia to visit a woman named Shawnee Graham, who about 7 years ago decided to
on all the bars of her neighborhood and invited, I think there's 1,000 people in that neighborhood, so a little smaller than Dual. But she brought them together for an event, a picnic in the park, and 100 people came, which is pretty good for the first turnout. And then she put out a map of their neighborhood, and she was like, put yourself on the map and go find each other. And she gave everybody like a bingo sheet, and she was like, find someone who is younger than 5 years old and learn their name. Find someone who, has lived here the longest. And so they all just like milled about. And by the end of that first gathering, they had a name. They were going to call themselves the West Peaky Bunch, which they are. That was like a child that suggested that name, and everybody thought it was great because they live in Beaconsfield in Western Australia. So yeah, like they created this beautiful community because a few people decided to coalesce that, to make that happen, to facilitate that. That's what Shawnee's doing. It's very much what you all are doing in your own ways, what Kirsten's doing.
Becky.
So I'm just really grateful to be here with you all, and I'm grateful that you care so much about your home enough to show up and say something about, the water fountains. Like the water fountains in my park are not working right now. It's because it's the winter in Colorado, but it's also like, I love that this is a forum where we get to talk about these things that matter.
Yes, did you have a question?
Well, we have such a cool community. We're all in maybe duplexes, maybe tiny little multiplexes or single-family homes. But now we've got all these 4-story apartment complexes around, and it sounds like that's how you started. We could probably use a lot of that in all these different places. The only one I'm familiar with, where my son lives, nobody talks to them.
Yeah, it's true.
And they're literally walking by each other constantly.
It's true. And like if you really start looking at the architecture of these buildings, they're built for separateness. They're built for privacy with like thin cheap walls, and so yeah, there's so many levels to this that could actually be redesigned for connection. And like I think we start with the social layer first. We start with the humans, the people who could actually then make the changes at the infrastructure level by advocating for the things we care about in meetings like this. Like that's how it happens.
Is it a nonprofit?
Basically, yes.
It says international. How many people are working with the group? It's called Cabin, is that right?
Cabin is the organization that we started out of, and I said basically yes because I think we're going to transition to being a nonprofit. But we're not essentially a nonprofit yet. But to answer your question, there's about 80 plus people who have taken our program or are actively taking this course, and thus joining this like cohort of people who like now advocate for each other's success, really care about the lifespan of these communities that people are building. And so they're mentoring each other, they're supporting each other, they're like getting on calls and visiting each other to learn from what all of us are building around the world and what all these communities are stewarding together.
Is it a publication or is it just a course series?
It's like a get on Zoom once a week, and ideally one day we're trying to build it out so that many people in one place, in one city, in one town, in one neighborhood could go through this experience together to further their own goals, to build their own projects, to find the way that they want to engage, to say I want to serve the community in this way, and I want a little bit of support and like a bit of a kick in the pants to make the time to invest in the thing that I care about.
Yeah, there's.
How much?
Are you saying you're part of the 10-week course? You're paying for it probably?
Yeah, the Coronado board voted it was $400. We applied for a scholarship, but I figured because there were so many others that are looking to just start something, and we already have a robust group, that we could do that. There's also a website with a directory of like all of these cool neighborhoods around the world, and so I added Coronado to that. I've been going through some case studies and videos that Savannah's put together of what other groups are doing, but also have been interacting directly with people, which is really fun. And I guess I first heard about Cabin was on a Substack called Super Nuclear, which is actually about co-living primarily, but really about building communities, whether you can get all of your people to move into one spot or if you create community from the people who already live next to each other.
Like often
Yeah.
will write a blog post case study about how they got a bunch of their friends and family, or in some cases their family, to move into their apartment building with them and create that the TV show Friends, that little dorm of what are the people I care the most about that I would drive across Phoenix to see were actually just never worked. And that idea.
You randomly come out here, or you come out here for this?
I came here to visit a place called Cul-de-sac. Are any of you?
Oh yeah, it's at the Carlos
Yep.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a friend of mine used to work for Cul-de-sac, and so they said, why don't you bring other people who care about community building, and we could have a little retreat at Cul-de-sac to around Cul-de-sac. And I was like, well, I gotta go see Kirsten. Here we are.
Cool. Thank you.
Well, I'll be here, and I'm gonna go to dinner too, so I'd love to continue chatting with you all.
Yeah. Thank you.
More question time?
More questions, yes, please.
How was the home tour for you guys? I know last year it felt like a heavy burden and it burned a person or two out. How was it this year, planning and doing?
It is always, I would say the hardest part is the beginning and getting the homes. And we switched up the incentives this year, and that helps. But that's the most frustrating, because it's everyone wants the home tour to happen, and then it's pulling teeth to get homeowners to participate. So, Laura, I'll be taking a testimony from you, and we will be doing a video to showcase how fun it was or something. Because that's the I think frustrating part for all of us. But then previous home tour planning committees left a binder, several binders, and so 3 years ago when most of this planning team started doing it, Kayla really helped bring that up to the 2022 at the time, and so now it's pretty streamlined with during this time, and I feel like it's fairly smooth. It's
Gotten better.
yeah, it's a small group of us that really gets it done ahead of time, and then obviously the day of or weekend of is a lot. So I don't know if others have other thoughts or comments on it, but I would say that was my experience this year.
Yeah.
Big hand to you all. I've done.
And then the home tour itself is this whole reason, right? It's this whole this is the basic fundraising event that the CNA has that allows us to be, to hold positions and part of that. And then the whole point is to keep generating neighborly events and community building.
Yeah. Correct. So the funds that come out of that support the giving program, as well as just the other free events that we put on. We had, we don't do anything quite as extravagant as that, obviously, but we're supporting NeuroFest. We do the free bike, the bike rides are free, but then we do some treats and prizes or whatever. Lotteria is mostly free this year. Last year was funded by a grant, and so we also were able to provide the food for free. So this year we'll probably have to charge for food, but obviously we'll pay for the DJ and the music and all that. So yes, it's all of our events are meant to be inclusive and get people out there and about. So funds all of that.
I have a question for you in particular. I'm wondering, I feel like you've been a great president. I just wonder, stepping down, where you'd like to envision either the CNA or the neighborhood. And you don't have to necessarily answer right now, but if you had any take on that, I have ideas too, but I'm interested, I think others would be interested in what you think is the neighborhood suffers from issues, or if there's certain things that we could really, just embellish or act on in different ways.
Yeah, I think right now, and especially very relevantly with the CND chatter of the safety and the speeding and stuff, that is not, the CNA can do so much, but that is a community effort to address. And you can get speed humps installed on your street, but I'm not going to go around and maybe I'll help petition, but I can't do it for all of the blocks. You have to work with your neighbors and get the petition signed, and then the city will do it. But it's you got to go gather the signatures, and so that's got to be community-led stuff. And Laura's doing the ongoing alley cleanups, like stuff that is really, that's not on Laura just to be the one cleaning up, like people have to show up to participate and then that's also the Front Porch Friday thing, like part of that was like, yeah, like Jane Jacobs, Eyes on the Street, right? Like you want to have a presence and that helps with no car is speeding every day, like I can get that guy's license plate next time, I'll be ready or whatever, like stuff like that where it's like, I guess I'm answering more as the second part, like the community, like I feel like this year, especially with like home tour and stuff, like it felt like people were ready to, post-COVID, everyone like, everything happened and then no one was like committing to one thing or whatever because everything was open again and then life was really busy and so now it feels like people are like coming back into like doing this and the safety committee like has had pretty consistent good turnout and engagement and stuff, so just to be engaged with the board, like we want to help you but we need people to participate. So thank you all for being
Clara
here.
has a
Because it's pretty boring when it's a small meeting. Yeah.
Somewhat related, do you know what the turnout for the PNT was?
Laura?
0 people showed up.
No.
for the
Oh.
Phoenix Neighborhood Patrol
Were you all
meeting,
aware
so-
that maybe we didn't advertise that well?
Yeah.
The Phoenix Neighborhood Patrol program? Did you guys hear about that? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, Phoenix Neighborhood Patrol is a program that the city puts on for how to, track with, like, patrolling without, there's a good way to, I don't know what the words are, but like, monitoring without action, without being combative, or like,
Without intervening.
thank you. And they do this course pretty regularly, but they would also come out to our neighborhood, which is what we had organized, Laura had organized, to do a special one specifically in our community for our neighbors, and no one showed up, so that's a bummer.
But if anyone is interested, I have the coordinator's contact information, so like please reach out to me, I can give you his info, and then they post when they have trainings. They've got virtual trainings, they've got in-person trainings, so there's lots of options if you are interested. But probably gonna be a while before he comes back to do one just for us, given lack of turnout last time, but there are options if you're interested. No, it was just like, it was posted on kind of the socials for the Coronado Neighborhood Association.
I think we emailed it and it was in the last meeting too.
Thank you all for being here. Appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah.
And again, thank you. I know a lot of people in this room volunteered at home tour, so thank you again for that. We're very happy with how it went. So
Woo!
happy Thursday night.